Wish me luck. This is my second attempt, and I want to talk about my autistic understanding of things. Today I wanted to listen to a song. The song is called Macarena, and it was very famous when I was a child. And I happened to recently happened to hear it in the TikTok, and since that time it's been playing in here. It's been going on, so I've been listening to it. Today was out. I was walking down a hill and I was listening to various songs, and then I remembered this one, the Macarena, so I typed it in the search engine, but the result that I got wasn't the version that I was looking for, wasn't the version that I recognize as the Macarena song, and because I had already done some reading on the song, because of course I had, I knew that there was a song done by like a duo of two middle-aged Spanish men, and then a band, I think, or maybe like a DJ or someone else, some other musicians. They did a remix, or like a cover, okay, let's say a remix of the song, and that song, the remix, that was the hit. The remix is what was playing at like on every radio station, at every dance establishment, what are they called? Nightclub. This is what people think of. This is what I think of when I hear the word Macarena. It's the remix, not the original version. But today when I wanted to listen to the song and I googled it, the first song that I heard was the original version. I was like, no, I want another one. I want that other one. So I scrolled and I clicked and I tapped, and then I found the remix and I was like, yeah, let's go, cool. And then a few seconds later, I finally, at today years old, I finally understood what a remix is. And because of this revelation, I want to explain how understanding works in my brain. And for that, I still don't have the structure for this. For that, I want to do it like this. I want to introduce a writer. There was this Polish writer called Stanisław Lem, who wrote sci-fi. And in one of his novels, which name I again forgot, The Star Diaries, there was a character whose name I cannot pronounce in English, but I will try in Polish. And I think it was... Can I copy the name? We've been here before. I have done this before.
Iżon Tichy.
So Iżon Tichy, that character from that book, he was traveling in space to other planets, and on a planet he encountered a word. The word is sepulka, and the bit in the book is about him hearing the word, not knowing what it is because it's a different planet, and trying to figure out what it is. And in the process of that, first he encounters circular definitions in the dictionary, and I'm gonna read them. So sepulka, or plural sepulki, is a prominent element of the civilization of Ardrites from the planet of Enteropia. And there is a note, see Sepulcharia. So if you go to Sepulcharia, it's gonna list singular, Sepulcharium. Sepulcharia are establishments used for sepulenia, or sepulling in English. And then see Sepulling, and if you go to Sepulling, an activity of Ardrites from the planet of Enteropia. So you don't get the information. And he didn't get the information. It was like, the fuck, what do I do with it? So he tried talking about these sepulchres with people, because he heard the people mentioning them in like media, in books and TV, but it is taboo to discuss them. And you kind of like ask questions about what it is, and also you cannot buy it unless you're married. Oh, it's a very funny section there. It's a very nice book. But why am I bringing this up is that why am I bringing this up? This is very similar to the form that I think most things, most concepts happen to take, well, at least quite a lot of them, happen to take in my brain when I encounter them. And going back to remixes, presumably when I first encountered this idea, I was like in this character's shoes, something new. And then, because people talk about it, I don't call it understanding, I cannot call it understanding. I attached some adjacent information to the term remix, and it's pretty poor. I think it's even worse than the fucking dictionary, the circular definitions in the dictionary. So, up until today, a remix existed in my head as there are songs, and sometimes there are some other songs which are kind of like those first songs, those original songs, but like they have brackets. In brackets it says remix by someone, and it sounds kind of like that song but a bit differently, and people release them, and it's like an event. It's something worth talking about, worth listening to, and expressing opinions about. And the person who created the remix, they are somehow cool. First of all, they claim the remix. It's like kind of like as if they're proud of it, like, oh, I did a thing. And the consumer, the public, is also, oh, like, they're cool, they did this thing, and we're cool for listening, like, because we're listening to this. And the remixes are cool. this is the extent of my understanding up until today of what a remix is. Today, because for like the last 20 years, and I would say 10 years extensively, I've been reading a lot about music and musical theory and like production of music, and I've been listening to like vocal coaches and musicians and musical nerds who do mixing, British musical nerds who do mixing. So because I've been very immersed, because it's my special interest in this topic, finally all of this data, it gave me an idea what a remix is. Not this I am an alien here definition of like, there is a song with brackets that says remix by a cool guy, and it's like people come at you, they come up to you and say, oh, this cool guy did this cool remix. Have you heard it yet? Are you cool like me or not? It's not that. I mean, it is that, but the people, the person or the people who do the remix, they're musicians, like the creator of the original song. So they can also produce songs. They can maybe play an instrument, or they can sing, or they can like electronically with the machine. I'm kind of vague still here, like it's very shaky here, but there is enough for me to understand what a remix is. So they can produce a song themselves. They understand how it works. They understand what to do, what tools to use, what to take, how the song functions, what makes a song. And when they're listening to someone else's song, they are hearing these aspects. They are, like in the aspect of mixing, they are hearing, this is so hard. I need to explain what I understand using something that I don't know, like I don't entirely understand, but still. So with mixing, there was, for example, a singer who sang a song, and they did for the album, and they did several takes. So there is a recording of many different versions of them singing cock, and then the mixer is sitting there at the console or at the computer, and they have these different versions of cock, and then cock is big. Yeah, the whole phrase is cock is big, so they have cock is and big, or even smaller bit, but let's do words. So they can like, oh, in this recording, this cock sounds like this, and like in this recording it sounds a bit different. Which one do I like more? And they say, okay, like I'm gonna pick cock number 1 and is number 15 and big number 10, and I'm gonna combine them because the tools allow me to do that. And also there are like, shit, I think I start to understand. I'm starting to understand this. Wow. There are different instruments in the song, and the tool, I don't know how, but it somehow allows the mixer to create, like, to put some sounds forward and like some sounds backwards, So kind of like the listener is gonna hear the voice more prominently, or like some instrument more prominently, or the volume, or like the space that it creates in the head of the listener. So they know how to do that, and they know how to hear it, and they know how, like, what it is. They understand everything. They're not me. So they're having fun with it. That's what it is. Remixes are having fucking fun with it. They're like, ooh, I'm listening to the song, and I can hear that the mixer, the original mixer, they made this and this choice. And I'm like, how about like I did something differently? How about like I added a reverb here, and or like how about like I auto-tuned this part, or like the opposite, or how about it's like, I don't know, the drum sound is gonna be like louder and like right in your fucking face or right in your fucking ear. So then they get the song, the recording, and they put it in the machine, and then they take this thing and they start like switching the toggles, or like toggling the switches or whatever they're doing there. Like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, and then they create the remix. They adjust the aspects to their taste, to the idea that they have in their mind, and what they produce is called a remix. And of course they claim it, because it's like their ideas, their creative thinking process, and also just like their labor of doing that. And it also could be even called cool. And like some people could be better at it than other people, and you individually could be better or worse at it. I know everything now. Anyways, now I understand what a remix is. What I mean by that is now I can perform basic mental operations with the word and the concept. I'm going to list some basic operations. The first one is making qualitative statements, which people do all the time, but I can't. So there is this cool new remix of this song, and someone is gonna tell me, like, this guy, like, he really knows what he's doing, it's like so solid, it's like so cool, like, it's the best. It's not like all these newbies and like losers and shit. Until I understand what I understand now, I cannot make statements like that. I cannot say basically anything apart from a remix exists. It's like a song with like brackets, like remixed by someone, and it sounds somehow very similar, but somehow different from this other song. I can just state the facts. That's all I can do. And I cannot say like, ooh, this remix producer is like, oh, he's the best. He really knows what he's doing. Because I don't fucking know what he's doing. There was another bit that I wanted to say. What other qualitative statements are there? So, like, opinion kind of qualitative statement. So I mean, that is a quantitative. If I say like this one is longer, this is quantitative, this is not qualitative. But this remix is fun and hip and cool and the best for the dance floor. I cannot do that if I still have this sepulchre kind of understanding. Because what are the categories? What am I basing this assessment on? Another thing that I cannot do if I don't have this, what I call understanding, is I cannot explain. So if yesterday someone asked me what a remix is, I would have to rely either on this I'm an alien here explanation, like a song, or with brackets, and some guy did something. But it basically sounds like that song, but like a bit differently. And like people talk about it, and there are magazines who announce it. And people are like, oh, the remix is better. This is so. I'm just giving the description of what I observed. Or another option, not for the remix, but for other things, I can cite people. I'm gonna have to use a different example here. There is a so I have a pretty good understanding of like linguistics, languages. I can do some explanation. So for example, what can I explain? I can explain the way in the previous video I did better. For example, yeah, I'm lost now. Shit. Well, let it be so. I can explain what a verb is. I understand how it's different and function comparing to all the other categories of like speech parts, whatever they're called. So I understand how it functions in the sentence and what can happen to the verb, what grammatical categories it has. I can look at a sentence and I can identify a verb or the verb there without any problem if I speak the language, but let's say it's like an English verb. I can, like, whatever changes and whatever forms it can take, I can explain it, and I can explain how to use it. I can do fucking everything. And I'm producing this. I'm going to be producing this explanation. But for example, I know, as in I have heard, that there are languages where it is impossible, it is only possible to count up to 3. And if there are more objects, no matter how many, like 5, 15, 5 billion, people say something like a fuck ton or something. I don't understand this because I don't know the language. And when I'm saying this now, this is me citing, rather poorly, but citing the words of other people whom I'm currently remembering, who are the specialists in these languages or this language. Because I'm mostly thinking about the Piraha language and the guy who did the jungle living with them thing. I don't remember his name, but I'm remembering him. I'm remembering some other linguistics figures talking about him, many of them. Some books where his research was cited and discussed, and the concept of time, like the discussions about the concept of not time, it was about time. Now I'm confusing, it's probably about time, but whatever, let's say it's about numbers. So I'm remembering something like this. I am remembering. I can so clearly see, like feel, and it's very it's very obvious and evident in my mind that these are two completely separate processes. Me remembering, recalling something, and citing the words, albeit poorly, but whatever. I could even, sometimes I could just literally fucking cite, like do a citation, a quotation of someone or something, some kind of source. I'm just relaying the information. This is one process. This is not explanation. Explanation is when I can produce it, and when I'm explaining what a verb is, I'm not remembering anyone or any book or any lecture. I'm creating the explanation myself. So yesterday I wouldn't have been able to explain what a remix is. I would have been able only to maybe cite Wikipedia entry of what a remix is, or give this I am an alien on another planet explanation, my functional kind of practical explanation, my practical understanding of what remixes entail, what kind of interactions remixes and their existence entail for me as a person. Another thing is writing. So sadly, I happened to, it just so happened that I started writing a novel about musicians, which is very unfortunate because I don't understand the first thing about fucking music. And so you start doing that, and now the task is to describe a musician's day. And I'm sitting there and okay, maybe possibly they brushed their teeth, then they had their morning milk, then they scratched their balls. Now they have to do musician-y kind of thing. And then I don't know, what do? They do drugs, they drink a lot, they fuck everything, but that's not it's not about music, is it? So they have an instrument, so they're holding an instrument in their hands. Or what else do? They sing maybe, or they do remixes, yeah, some people do remixes. So now I have to write it here, something like that. So I have done it. I have committed the sin of writing with my own fucking, typing with my own fucking fingers. Offensive. He woke up, he didn't brush his teeth, he scratched his balls instead, and then he while he was drinking, having his morning milk, an inspiration struck him, and he created two remixes. I've fucking written it, but because I have to, the literature forces me